Your father says the sentence again at dinner, the same one he's been saying since you were 14. Just work hard and don't waste money. And you nod, because what else do you do? But something sits wrong in your chest this time, and it takes you the whole drive home to name it. He isn't wrong. That's the part nobody prepares you for. It would be so much easier if he were wrong. He's just answering a question the world stopped asking. Here's what you have to understand about the world he learned money in. He got a job at 22. The same company kept him for 31 years. His rent, when he first moved out, was a small enough slice of his paycheck that he never had to think of it as a strategy. It was just a bill. He bought a house on one salary, and it wasn't brave or clever. It was just Tuesday. Everybody did that. And the savings account at his bank actually paid him. Meaningfully, money sitting still was money that grew. That's not a myth. He watched it happen with his own eyes for years. So when he tells you to work hard, avoid debt, and put your money in the bank, he isn't being stubborn. He's telling you the exact 3 things that worked. He's handing you a map that got him across the country. The map is real. The roads just moved. Quick thing, because the next part is where this gets uncomfortable. If you've ever felt guilty for not being able to do what your parents did on less than you make, this channel is for exactly that. Money Lens. Hit subscribe and stay to the end. The last 2 minutes aren't about money at all. Look at what actually happened underneath his advice. Work hard, and they'll take care of you. In his world, loyalty was a real asset. You gave a company decades, they gave you a pension and a watch. There was a deal, and both sides mostly kept it. That deal is gone. Nobody announced it. Nobody sent a letter. It just quietly stopped existing somewhere between his career and yours. Now the person who stays gets a small annual bump, and the person who leaves gets a real raise. And everyone knows it, and nobody says it out loud. Loyalty used to be an investment. Now it's a preference. He can't see that, not because he isn't smart, but because from inside his career, loyalty worked every single time. You don't question the thing that never failed you. Put it in the bank where it's safe. This one is the cruelest, because the words are identical and the meaning inverted completely. In his world, the bank paid enough that safe and smart were the same choice. In yours, that account pays you almost nothing, while everything around it gets more expensive every year. Same account. Same safe. Except now, standing still isn't neutral, it's a slow leak you can't see, because the number on the screen never goes down. It just quietly buys less. He's telling you to stand still, because standing still used to work. Nobody sent him a letter either. Buy a house as soon as you can. For him, a house was a stretch, but a reachable one. Today, in most places young people actually work, it's a multiple he'd find genuinely hard to believe if you said it out loud. So you tell him you're renting at 32, and something crosses his face: worry. Maybe disappointment, and he says, in my day, we just saved up. And he means it kindly. He isn't judging you. He's using the only ruler he was ever given. He's measuring your life in a unit that no longer exists. And here's the part that's actually hard. You can't argue with him. Not really. Because when you pull up a number, when you explain the math, it doesn't land as information. It lands as disagreement. Underneath his advice isn't stubbornness. It's love, in the only language he had. He wasn't trying to give you a financial strategy. He was trying to hand you the one thing that had ever kept him safe. That's what parents do. They pass down the tools that worked, and they do it with real urgency, because they remember exactly how frightening it was before those tools worked. You know what's underneath "don't waste money"? Usually a memory. A month that was tight. A phone call he took in another room. Something he didn't buy so you could have something else. His rules aren't opinions. They're scar tissue. So no, you don't get to sit at dinner and tell him he's wrong. Not because it would hurt him. Because it isn't true. Here's what is true, and it's stranger than wrong. Your parents' advice was correct, and it expired. Both. at the same time. Every generation gets handed a map drawn for the previous terrain. That isn't a failure of parenting, it's just how time works. His parents told him things that had already stopped being true by the time he needed them. He had to quietly discard some of it too. He probably never told you which parts. And one day, you'll do the same thing to someone. You'll hand down whatever worked for you with total conviction, and they'll nod at dinner, and they'll drive home feeling something they can't name yet. That's not tragic. That's the deal. So what do you do with the map? You don't throw it out. That's the mistake most people your age make. They hear the rules changed and decide their parents knew nothing. That's not smarter. That's just a different kind of blind. Look at what he actually gave you. Don't spend money you don't have. That's not an old rule. That's physics. That will be true forever. Work hard. Still true. It's just no longer sufficient on its own. Hard work is the entry fee now, not the prize. Don't be careless. True. Always was. Strip away the specific tools, the bank account, the one company, the timeline, and underneath is a set of instincts that still hold completely. He gave you the values. The tactics were just the version available to him. Your job isn't to reject his map. It's to keep the compass and redraw the roads. And here's what nobody tells you. The moment you stop needing your parents to be right, something gets easier for both of you. You stop trying to win the dinner table argument. He stops feeling like his life is being graded. You can just let him say the sentence. You can nod and mean it and go home and do something slightly different, not in defiance, but because you were handed a compass and pointed at ground he never walked. He might never fully understand what you're building. He might not understand why you rent, or why your money sits somewhere he can't see, or why the plan doesn't look like a company and a pension and a watch. That's okay. He doesn't have to understand it for it to work. He gave you what he had. He gave it to you with everything he had, actually, which is more than most people ever get. The map was never the gift. He was just the first person who ever bothered to draw you one. This is Money Lens. We show you what the money world doesn't say out loud.